Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Ganesha Ecosphere Limited Q4 and FY21 earnings conference call hosted by Antique Stock Broking Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Manish Mahawar from Antique Stock Broking. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Mahawar.
Thank you, Neerav. On behalf of Antique Stock Broking, I would like to welcome all the participants on the call of Ganesha Ecosphere. From the management, we have Mr. Sharad Sharma, Managing Director, Mr. Gopal Agarwal, CFO, and Mr. B.P. Sultania, Joint President Marketing on the call. Without further ado, I would like to hand over the call to Mr. Agarwal for opening comments. Thank you, and over to you, Gopalji.
Thank you, Manish. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gopal Agarwal, and I welcome you all to our fourth quarter FY21 conference call. First and foremost, I hope that all of your family and friends are coping well during this difficult time and all are safe. Today, I would like to address three topics with you. Firstly, a brief summary of the fourth quarter results. Secondly, the current business situation in the COVID-19 disruption. And thirdly, our continuing progress executing our strategy and expansion project. Let me start with the quarterly performance for Q4. I am delighted to say that after a strong comeback in the third quarter, we have again performed fairly well in the fourth quarter as well. Fourth quarter revenue was rupees 249 crore, an increase of 24% year-on-year, and an increase of 6% compared to the last quarter, primarily due to 14% higher realization. On an annual basis, our revenue for entire FY21 was 15% lower than the previous financial year. This was largely due to the underperformance in Q1 and Q2 of this financial year owing to the pandemic disruption in the country. We have achieved production volume of 31,236 tons, which is almost 104% of capacity utilization. The EBITDA is rupees 33 crore during this quarter, which is higher by 84% year-on-year and 3% from the last quarter. In absolute terms, we earned EBITDA of rupees 10,600 per ton, which is higher by 2.7% from Q3. On an annual basis, EBITDA is 24% less compared to the last financial year, again due to the underperformance in Q1 and Q2 this year. We earned profit after tax of rupees 18.7 crore, which translated into 7.4% margins over income. This is 120 basis points lower than the previous quarter, mainly due to lower investment income. On an annual basis, we have earned PAT of rupees 40.5 crore, which is 29% lower than the last financial year, mainly due to underperformance during Q1 and Q2. During Q3 and 4, we made a strong comeback, and our performance is much superior than corresponding quarters during FY20. Company has maintained 20% dividend for FY21. Coming on the second topic, country is passing through a difficult time due to second wave of pandemic, and like our country, we are also facing difficulties owing to the current situation of disrupted supply chain, worker availability, and demand glut. We are currently running at 75% of our capacities, although we have already started seeing improvement to these fronts from the past week. We have also increased our exports for ramp up the offtake. We foresee that current gloomy situation will improve in rapid way from next month onwards, and we will be back to our potential performance starting July 21. We are also exploring towards becoming more technology-driven company in brand building as well as smoothing our operations under any unprecedented circumstances by use of latest technology in our operations. We are quite confident that FY22 was closed at a much better note than FY21, both in terms of top and bottom line, even after current pandemic situation. Now talking about our strategy and expansion fronts, we are establishing a state-of-the-art, first of its kind recycling filament yarn and bottle-to-bottle facility in India, using the best technologies available worldwide. Our expert process teams have rigorously worked with the technology specialists all over the globe for more than 2 years to establish and successfully design the end-to-end processes for the same. Not only this, being an eco-friendly company at its core, our new facilities will be ZLD, meaning zero liquid discharge by nature, and additionally we will also be utilizing less water to process the same waste. All these initiatives will also help us strengthen our brand values and we are confident that post the operationalization of this project, we will be positioning ourselves well to become a global brand name and player delivering sustainable and eco-friendly solutions to our clients. Currently, our execution of the Telangana project is facing slight delay from the planned timelines, primarily due to lockdowns and supply chain disruptions at suppliers' ends. We are taking all the required steps and precautions to remedy the current delay and to ensure smooth future execution as well. Equipment of washing and PET chips plant are ready for dispatch, and dispatches will start from June and or July beginning. In Nepal project also, we faced some delay due to ongoing pandemic-related lockdowns in Nepal, which delayed some regulatory approvals related to the takeover of company. We are, however, now hopeful that situation will start to improve from next month onwards and things will be put on fast track. Equipment will move to the site from June end and unit will start operations by September 21 end. We have successfully operationalized 2.2 megawatt rooftop solar plant during the quarter and has started contributing from current quarter. Thank you very much, and with this I would now hand over to the operator to put the floor open for question and answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Swechha Jain from ANS Wealth. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Sir, I have few questions, and I don't know if these questions were already covered in the previous call. I have recently started tracking the company, so I'm sorry about it if they are repetitive from previous calls. The first question what I wanted to understand was, what is the current pricing gap between the virgin fiber and the, PET fiber? And typically, what is the industry trend and preference over the usage of, these two materials? And how is the price correlated to one another?
Thank you, Sweta. Ms. Sultania will give the answer for this question. Sultania ji, please.
Sure.
Yes. Good afternoon to all. Actually, presently the pricing of the virgin fiber and our recycled fiber. Presently, the virgin fiber is priced at around 87 to 88 rupees, and our fiber is priced at around 73, 74 rupees. So here is the difference of around 10 to 15% overall. And around the year, the difference in the pricing of our fiber and the virgin fiber, it will remain the same. However, the pricing is also dependent upon the demand and supply. Nowadays, more and more customers and brands, they are opting to use recycled fiber. Yeah.
Okay. So, and just to follow up on...
Okay. Demands are increasing in our fiber. And
the recycled one.
Yeah. It is in India as well as for exports also.
Okay. So just to follow up on this, so I think recently there was some import duty that was cut on the PTA, which is the raw material for virgin fiber, and also, there was an ADD imposed earlier which was removed. So does this impact the pricing of virgin fiber? I mean, downward trend, would the gap decrease because of this? Or you think that the gap will remain in the price?
Actually, the import duty on the PTA and MEG, it has been affected. So the impact has been on the pricing of the virgin fiber only. So the pricing of our fiber, it is not at all affected because of all these factors.
Right. Okay. So my second question is, I believe, we collect these PET bottles from, the rat pickers, and we've tied up with rat pickers in South. And then typically even our South plant caters to our plant in the North. So I just wanted to understand that, why is it that, we collect majorly only from South, and we've not expanded our collection of PET bottles, across the country, and why we are only in South, sir?
Yeah, Shweta, it is not correct. Basically, PET bottle consumption across the country is spread evenly. So we are procuring from all over the country. We are procuring from South, we are procuring from West, we are procuring from East, and we are also procuring from South.
Okay. Understood. So okay. Sir, and what would be our procurement cost, sir?
We are buying from the dealers and traders, scrap traders. So we are buying at prices which is delivered to our place.
Okay. So then my understanding is wrong. That means we don't have tie-up with the rat pickers. We tie up with the dealers and traders who have a back-end tie-up with the rat pickers, right?
Correct. Because the rat pickers are spread across the country, and there are various issues down the line. So we are sourcing our material from the scrap dealers, not directly from the rat pickers. Initially, we started with procuring from the rat pickers and strangers, but over the period of time we made some gaps from that level, and now we are procuring from the scrap dealers. We also started our own collection centers who are directly dealing with the rat pickers, but now we are more relying on the scrap dealers.
Okay. So could you throw some sense on the volume of this? So I believe we collect the PET bottles, right? The waste we collect. So can you tell us what kind of volume was there on the raw material side, and the cost of per ton cost that comes on this raw material?
Volume at our end, or at the total volume in the market, you are asking?
So for us. Like how much waste we collected in FY21,
we are collecting about 350 ton metal per day.
300 okay.
Yes.
And the per ton cost for this would be?
The present cost is around 39 rupees a kg.
39 rupees a kg. Okay, sir. So I have few more questions. I'll just join back the queue, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rachit Gupta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question, sir. Sir, I have a question. The Spilletex in this recent con call has mentioned that they'll be incurring 250 crores of capex for recycling of PET only, but they'll be using chemical recycling, not the mechanical one. As this chemical recycling is new technology and technology of future. What would be your comment on this?
Mr. Sachit, as far as I understand, they are going for recycling of the polyester waste, not the PET bottle. Polyester waste is the soft waste coming from the virgin plants, and they are going for recycling of the polyester waste from chemical recycling. That is correct.
Okay, polyester waste. Okay. Okay, thanks, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Zare from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. My question was good afternoon. My question was on volume. So, any particular reason, sir, our volumes fell sequentially from Q3 to Q4? But I see we did almost more than 31,000 tons in Q3 and 26,000 in fourth quarter. So, any particular reason for volume drop sequentially?
Basically, at production end, the volume has not dropped. In fact, the production has increased slightly. But yes, of course, at sales level, our volume has dropped. That is primarily towards the end of March because of some pandemic disruption has started right from the March in some parts of the country.
Okay. So it was not related to any increase in realization of our end products, which could have in turn impacted the demand.
No. It was not because of the demand or the prices. It is just because of the disruption in the few states.
Okay. And sir, on your south expansion project, so you have guided that the Telangana project would be operational by fourth quarter. So if you can help us understand more the phase 1 and phase 2 and the timelines of the same, sir.
Basically, earlier we planned our south project to be operational by Q4 of 22. But due to lockdowns and availability of labor and everything, some disruptions have happened at the site. Our dispatches of machinery has also somewhat delayed because of the lockdowns scenario in the countries where the dispatch is to take place. But we are trying to keep the delay as short as possible.
Okay, sir. So any commissioning of the phase 1 in FY22, sir? There
are three production lines which will be installed one by one. So by the installations will start from the Q3.
Q3.
Yeah.
In terms of capacity, if you can help, so our 54,000 ton capacity is coming on stream. So how much will come in Q3, how much in Q4, and how much will go into first quarter of FY23?
It is in phases. There will not be much time gap between all the lines to be started. In 6 months' time, all the lines will be started. So you can say the first chips, our chips plant will start. That will start with a capacity of about 14,000 ton by December, and then our filament yarn and then fiber plant will start. So within within 6 months' time, all the plants will be started.
Okay, so first plant in December end, and after that 6 months, rest 2 plants will also be started. Is that correct, sir?
Yes. We will try to keep the keep this period as shorter as possible. We are trying very hard on this front to make up the delay.
Got it, sir. And one last question from my side. So as we have heard, a lot of competitions have come and started are actually planning to have their own recycled PET products. So in case, so do you see any possibility of a supply side glut coming from competition, which could in turn impact the profitability of the superior profitability of the products which we are targeting?
Some new capacities has been operational. Capacity has been operational, but as the consumption of PET bottle is also increasing, there is a 10 to 12% annual increase in the demand side of PET bottles. So that much waste will also come into the stream. So we don't see any much challenge in this front.
Okay, sir. Okay, got it. I'll come back in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask the question. The next question is from the line of Rajat Sethia from iThought Financial Consulting. Please go ahead.
Thanks. So my first question is, what will be the capacity of the new plant?
Sorry?
What will be the capacity of the new plant that we are going to start in South this year?
That is our recycled capacity in South. We are not the virgin.
Sorry?
We are the recycling player. We are not the virgin player. So the capacity for South is for virgin for recycled stuff.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. What will be the capacity for the new plant?
Capacity is about 53,000 ton.
53,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And sir, what will be the debt level once the expansion is complete?
For this project, we are tying up the debt of about 250 crore.
So once the expansion is complete, our debt level will be 250 crores.
For this project, it is 250 crore. Already we are having debt of about 100 crore in our books. So at the peak level, it will be around 350 crore.
Okay. And so whenever we start, and how long do you think it takes to ramp up the production to 80% plus levels for the new plant? How many years does it take?
As we are already in the fiber business, our market and customer are set. So we don't think there is much time lag in ramp up the capacity of the fiber. For other chips plant, there is a good demand also. So we don't think it will take more than 6 months time to ramp up the optimum capacity utilization level.
Okay, all right. And will we so once we ramp up the new capacity, do we expect to remain in the same margin profile like we have been making 10 to 13% margins over the last 10 years? So do you think this margin profile will?
Basically, in South, we would be getting some freight advantage. And apart from this, we are going for the products which are the value-added products like filament, yarn, and recycled chips. So there the realizations and margins are much higher. So the blended margins, EBITDA margins of 25% we are looking from the South facility.
The South alone will give you 25% margin on its turnover. You're talking about EBITDA margin?
It is at EBITDA level margin from the South plant.
Okay. It's EBITDA, not the contribution, correct?
Yeah, it is not included the NARC contribution.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Swechha Jain from ANS Wealth. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you. So I wanted to understand, with respect to a couple of cost line items, we've seen a 20% reduction in employee and power cost and 15%, close to 15% in other expenses. So can we assume that these costs was obviously because of the COVID related, where our factories were shut down, and it was also impacted last year in April and this year in March. So is it safe to assume that the costs would come back to the FY20 levels?
Basically, yes. Some costs are related to the COVID related disruption in production, which will go up as the labor increases. But yeah, power cost will not increase. We have put up the 9 megawatt power plant, rooftop power plant. So we would be making some good savings in the power cost going ahead.
Right. So could you quantify the saving from the solar plant that we've put up?
About 5 crore annual saving we would be having.
Okay. So, and also in terms of our employee cost, what I have understood is typically, our outgo is more in terms of commissions as compared to a fixed kind of a salary. So am I right in doing this analysis?
Sorry, I could not get.
So we expense more as commission as compared to the fixed component of the salary. So our outlay in terms of variable cost is more to employees as compared to our fixed cost.
No, it is not so.
Okay. So maybe I have done some wrong calculation. I'll just check and get back to you, sir. So also, I think we've started a small division called as EPR certificate. Can you just explain, or throw some light around it, what this division is and how does it fit into our overall, strategy, and how is it going to benefit us?
Which thing?
EPR certificate.
Yeah, EPR basically, Government of India has come out with the guidelines for extended social responsibility, where they put the owners on all the brand owners who are packaging their products in plastic products.
Okay.
To get back to collect all the plastic packaging and get it recycled. So this is the EPR. The EPR has been implemented 3 years back, but due to one or another reasons, the government has extended the timeline. But now the pollution control boards are after all the plants to put the systems in place to comply with the guidelines. So certainly it will benefit the recycling industry because so far the recycling industries are not so far the collection is concerned. So when the large brands and large corporates will come into this place, so the industry will organize and the existing recycler players will benefit even from this drive.
Okay. So these EPR certificates would be tradable, like how we have the RE certificates, which you can.
Yes, presently, some EPR, some brands are sourcing the EPR certification from the recyclers.
Okay. And sir, I have two more questions. Can I take this up?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. So can you, in terms of so can you give me a breakup segment-wise? I believe we are into three segments: fiber, filament, and chips. So can you give me the revenue breakup for these three segments and the EBITDA margins in these three for FY21 and for Q4, sir?
For Q4, roughly PSF contributes the largest by around 80% revenues coming from the PSF business.
Okay.
And, from Ispan Yarn, we are getting the 16% revenue, and rest 3-4% revenue is coming from the dyed textile yarn.
Okay.
So at blended level, we are having the about 13% EBITDA margins in PSF business, 16% in yarn, and 16% in Ispan Yarn business, and 7 to 8% in textile yarn business. The blended EBITDA is about 13.5%.
Okay. And sir, with the South coming in at a company level, the EBITDA would probably go up to 18% or something?
Yes, we are looking for 18% kind of EBITDA from the consolidated business operations.
Okay. And sir, I was just listening to the last call recording. I could not participate. I'm sorry. But I think there we had mentioned about the specialty fiber, that we've come up with a lot of innovative products. And there was some interest coming in from Europe and also from some entities in India. So do we have any firm order book on the specialty fiber side, sir?
Yeah, Mane will answer this.
Yeah. Specialty fiber, it is still in introduction stage. Actually, we have already bagged certain orders from India and from abroad, and these orders have also been executed also. But all the companies are asking for the certifications. So we have already applied for the certification with European labs, and the certification work must be over by the end of September. So once the certification is over, we can have good amount of sales and orders in this segment. We are very, very aggressively pushing up all these value-added specialty fibers.
Okay. So any target revenue that we have for 22, 23, or say within 3 years, specialty fiber should contribute X percentage in our overall revenue, or we have any such kind of target, sir?
Actually, still it is in introduction stage. So hopefully by this end of this year, we will have some more clarity about the volumes of the business in this segment. Right now, I think we cannot have any surety about how many quantity business in this specialty fiber.
Okay. And so my last question, what I understand from a Nepal plant, we are going to get the chips. So I want to understand, what is the rationale behind, making the chips in Nepal and not making the end product and, selling it from Nepal, sir, and then bringing the chips here and then processing and then, addressing the market.
See, Nepal market is not much larger. So the putting of the fiber plant or the end product is not feasible there. We were going to put up the washing line there, but
right.
But the government of India put the ban on import of the wash flags. So now we are going for the making the chips. And after the chips market is growing decently overseas, and with the EPR compulsions and the statutory regulations, the chips market is commanding good premium over the virgin chips. So we are having the option either to sell the market the chips to other markets, or to bring back the chips to India for our operation.
Okay. Understood. And sir, our effective tax rate is 26%, right? Going
Yes.
forward? Okay.
Yeah, tax
Thank
rate is
you, sir.
25% for our existing operations, and our South plant is 17%.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That was very helpful.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Rajat Sethia from iThought Financial Consulting. Please go ahead.
Sir, one more thing. For the current value-added products that we make, what kind of margins are we making there?
In the value-added products, the margins are around 30 to 40% on an average.
EBITDA margin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rachit Gupta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir. In Q4, what was the percentage of exports in revenue we did?
We made an export of 60 crore during FY21. That is around 7% of the total turnover.
And answer in Q4, sir?
In Q4, it was the decent export. We made the export of 17 crore in Q4.
Okay. And after the commissioning of the South plant, do we think this exports percentage to grow?
Yeah, of course. We are going for 100% export of the chips plant. And some fiber and filament yarn will also be exported. So we are looking for around 50% of our turnover will come from export in South plant.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Swecha Jain from ENS Wealth. Please go ahead.
Sorry, sir. A few more questions. Nepal plant, you said it's going to be delayed and will be operational by September end, right? And
Right.
You also said that it's also going to contribute to our revenues, because either we'll directly sell the chips from Nepal, or we'll bring it here and do a backward kind of an integration, which obviously will lead to a cost saving, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of revenue contribution do we expect from this Nepal plant, sir, once it is fully operational?
We are expecting revenue of around 70 to 75 crore from this plant.
Per annum, right?
Annually, yeah.
So the big chunk of it is obviously going to come in 23, right? Because the plant is being delayed.
Yes.
Okay. That's it, sir. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rajat Sethia from iThought Financial Consulting. Please go ahead.
Thanks once again. So just wanted to understand if you can talk a little bit about your customers and how easy or difficult is it to onboard a new customer. Like, we are coming up with a new plant, and you said we will be able to ramp it up very quickly. So do we already have the contracts in place to sell capacities from there? If a new player comes with new capacity, so how easy or difficult is it for them to onboard a new customer or, let's say, replace us there?
Sultana ji?
Yeah. Actually, about the selling of this South project, we are already having serious inquiries from several customers, and basically it is from abroad. So they are very, very seriously asking when we can supply them chips and flakes and the filaments, etc. So at present we don't at all anticipate about any problems in selling the products which will be manufactured in our south land. And it will also be sellable in India also.
Sure. And sir, how easy or difficult is it to onboard a new customer?
Actually, onboard customers are also for this project.
We are already having marketing base in South, and we are having some supplies in South India. But because of the freight and other costs, we are not focusing much on South market as of now. But with the coming of our PSF business, certainly we are having the existing product customer base, and the new customer base is already there, which will capture.
Okay. And do we sell to distributors or to the textile manufacturer directly?
We are selling directly to the customers.
Okay. And these customers get into some long-term contracts with us, or is it like very small, like short-term or 1 month or 1 week contract? How is that?
Normally, as per the industry trend, there is not long-term contracts. Yeah, the contracts are on short-term basis.
It
Okay.
is
Okay.
ongoing.
So these are very short.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is ongoing every month.
Okay. And if our competitors give a slightly lower price, so the business can go there, right?
Actually, every customer, he has to understand his pricing also. But so far, if a little bit variation is there, then the customer will always buy from me, not from my competitor.
We are having a lot of we are having a lot big basket of our products with us. So we are having the product for every application for our customers. So customers benefit because we are having the ready product for them. So they prefer to buy from us.
Sure. And who do you consider who is your competitor? Who do you think is the most respectable competitor of yours?
Actually, apart from us, there are 35, 36 more recyclers in the country are there, having the varying kind of capacities. But of course, we are the largest one, and so we are having the advantage because of the large production base and large customer base.
So,
And our
do you have any idea? Yeah.
And our company is commanding 18% of the Indian market share of this recycled fiber. We are making all kinds of the fiber. So if a customer has any requirement of any kind of fiber, our company can supply that. It is our specialty.
Understood. And what will be the size of the second largest company, like after us?
I think it is Reliance Industries.
Reliance Industries, JB Fibers.
Yeah.
Okay. And there would be like the similar business of theirs would be how big? Like similar to us, or they will be smaller than us? And how?
Yeah, the capacity is around 50,000 ton per annum. So they are almost 50% to our capacity.
50%. And sir, overall, what is the capacity situation in this space? Like overall in the country, a lot of capacity is coming up.
The total capacity of recycled PSF is around 650,000 ton in the country.
Okay. And are new capacities coming up, or we are not aware of them?
So far, no new capacity is coming up in the industry in near future. It may be after this pandemic situation is over, but as of now, there is no recycled PSF capacity adding up.
And would you be aware about the industry size, say, 2 years back? Like right now it is 6,50,000 tons. What was this 2 years back?
2 years back, it was roughly around 450,000 tons.
Okay. And so the last one, what is the total capex that we are incurring for the south plant?
It is around 400 crore.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that will be the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Manish Mahawar for closing comments.
Yeah, thank you, Nirav. Gopalji, I have 2 questions to ask. First, in terms of revenue guidance, once this Nepal plant and the south plant comes up, what type of revenue and EBITDA margins on a consolidated basis you are looking out?
When we reach to the optimum capacity utilization from our new capacities, new facilities, so we are looking for a combined revenue of about 1,500 crore.
Okay, and what is the EBITDA margin on a blended basis?
On blended basis, it is around 18% of the total turnover.
Okay, and this margins, what you're talking about, it is excluding the benefits, government benefits or incentives, whatever we'll receive, right?
Yes. We have not accounted for the government benefits which are available to our site. That will be accounted for as and when received.
Okay, but sir, any ballpark number on in terms of government incentives we'll get per annum basis?
We are having 3-4 benefits, government benefits there. One is the power subsidy, that is around 2 rupees per unit. We are having 75% interest rate subsidy, and we are having the capital subsidy there, and we are also having the state reimbursement of state GST. So roughly on rough basis, 20 to 25 crore incentives will be available to us on yearly basis.
Okay, and how many years we'll get this benefit?
It is every 8 years.
Okay, understood. Okay, and the last question from my side, sir, just it's a large capex we are doing in south, right? And the customer side, we don't have any long-term contracts. So how confident the management is to basically ramp up the capacity in maybe first or second year to the 100% or maybe 80 to 100%?
See, there is a large market for PSF and filament yarn. In PSF, the capacity, recycled capacity is quite large, and the market is expanding. So the incremental demand is being met by the recycled fiber, which is around 40,000-50,000 tons per annum. So in south market there is a big textile market. So far the textile market was dominated by the cotton, but now the cotton virgin polyester. Now the market is shifting from cotton to polyester. PC yarn, polyester cotton yarn, blended yarn, they are shifting the demand. So the demand is increasing for the polyester also. So we are the kind of capacity which we are putting up there is not very big capacity. So we don't see any problem there. We are already having the customer base in south. And as far as the filament yarn, there is not much recycling capacity in the country. Only 1 or 2 players are there so far. And market is larger than the PSF market, and with the kind of requirement of recycled stuff by the brands and the large manufacturers, the demand is much higher. So we don't see any problem in selling the filament yarn. In chips side also, there is a very high demand in developed countries like Europe and US. So we are having some good inquiries, and we are also trying up with some big brands. So the capacity is not very high in terms of the demand. So we don't see any problem in selling the entire material and ramp up the capacity in 6 months period. We are very optimistic to ramp up the capacity in 6 months period after the plant is operational.
Okay, and in terms of chips, in the follow-up from this question, in terms of the chips, when you said the global players have are there in that chips, basically product, right? So what the different will provide to the customer? It's a pricing or a quality of the product where we are able to compete with the global players.
Yeah, we are the chip plant which we are putting up the state-of-the-art plant. We are already getting the US FDA approval for this product. So the quality would be at par with the virgin fiber with the recycling tag. So there is 35 to 40% premium for the recycled chips as against the virgin PET chips.
Okay, sure, sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks from that was my side. Sharadji, would you like to make any closing comments, sir?
थैंक यू मनीष जी. पिछली बार जब अपनी मीटिंग हुई थी कॉन्फ्रेंस में, उसमें मैंने काफ़ी कुछ बोला था और उसमें मैंने ये भी कहा था कि रिसाइकलिंग इंडस्ट्री का गोल्डन पीरियड आ रहा है, परंतु ड्यू टू कोविड पूरे वर्ल्ड के अंदर सबको इस चीज़ का सामना करना पड़ा है, सेकेंड फेज का, और अब इस चीज़ों में भी सुधार हो रहा है. तो समझ रहा हूँ कि अब ये चीज़ जल्दी समाप्त हो जाएंगी और मैं अब अपनी उम्मीद यही करता हूँ कि अब आगे जो है हम लोग जो भी चीज़ की डिले कर चुके हैं वो डिले कर चुके हैं. इस क्वार्टर का रिजल्ट भी बेहतर नहीं आएगा, परंतु इस क्वार्टर के बाद में हम करेंगे, हम वापस से अपने पुराने ट्रैक पे लौट आएंगे और वापस से हम चीज़ें बेहतर करेंगे. साउथ प्रोजेक्ट भी अपना थोड़ा सा डिले हो रहा है और फिर भी हमारी कोशिश रहेगी कि जितना जल्दी उस टाइम पे को पैचअप कर लें, उतना जल्दी पैचअप करके उसको भी हम जल्दी चालू करने की चेष्टा करेंगे. अब ये मान लीजिए कि नया प्रोजेक्ट को लेकर हम लोग तो आज भी उत्साहित हैं और नया प्रोजेक्ट जैसे ही हमारा चालू होता है वैसे ही हमारा तो गोल्डन पीरियड चालू हो जाएगा. रिसाइकल इंडस्ट्री का गोल्डन पीरियड जो है वो नए प्रोजेक्ट के साथ में बहुत चीज़ें लिंक्ड हैं. रिसाइकल इंडस्ट्री को ये पैंडेमिक पीरियड में बहुत चीज़ों का फेस करना पड़ा है, सामना करना पड़ा है, परंतु ड्यू टू देखा जाए तो टोटल सारी इंडस्ट्रियों को इस सब चीज़ों का सामना करना पड़ा है, केवल हम ही को नहीं. और सारी इंडस्ट्रियाँ इन सब चीज़ों से उभर करके आ जाएंगी अगले क्वार्टर में, तो उसके बाद में हमारे को हर चीज़ें पॉजिटिव ही मिलती जाएंगी. और मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि हमारे पास संभावनाएं बहुत ज़्यादा हैं और कितनी जल्दी हम उनको इनकेसमेंट करते हैं उतनी जल्दी हम उस चीज़ को इनकेसमेंट करेंगे. थैंक यू. यू ऑल स्टे सेफ एंड
Sure, Sharadji, thanks for comment. Yeah, Dira, we can close the call now, please.
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू. थैंक यू.
On behalf
Thank you.
of, thank you very much.
Thank you.
On behalf of Antique Stock Broking Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.